welcome back. So we were just talking about our 2025 January rundown, and we got into the conversation around social media. And to tell us what's going on in the world of social media, we do have our presenters, Ezinna and Aishat. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me, how much of your January resolutions have you actually been putting into work?
I'll say one. I've been sleeping more.
That's not bad.
That's very good.
I need to take more rest, relax with the work ethics that is like sometimes overwhelming. So I sleep more, at least for 2025. The other ones we are approaching.
Isn't it? How about you?
I have actually tried to incorporate more positive self-talk. And sometimes I get it right, sometimes I don't, but keep working at it, I guess.
Maybe it should be like Andy, who said earlier that you have to see yourself how God sees you.
That
would help.
So, ladies, what's going on in the world of social media this week and this January?
So much.
There's a lot, as always. I like how you were mentioning social media in your previous conversation with Didi. Social media is so full with so many things, but as usual, we just try to pick out
the,
it's
the
quite
trending,
fast
the best.
paced, because you're saying one thing, another thing
Yeah,
is
another thing's coming up.
honestly.
I can't even keep up anymore.
Definitely.
So what are the highlights in social media this January which you would like us to know?
Honestly, should we start with the good news or the bad news?
It's up to you. Let's start with the bad
It's
level
always
and then
bad
the better news.
Okay, I mean, honestly, just yesterday there was a video that dropped concerning a lady who went on Facebook to post images of her husband that she claimed was the one that caused her harm, domestic abuse, and she was crying, asking for help, and all of those things. And then just yesterday in the evening, she's reading from a letter saying she's fine, she's okay, and her eyes are swollen.
Apparently, the reason her husband allegedly brutalized her is because she wore a singlet to go for school runs.
School runs.
That's
My
so
heart.
sad. That's so painful.
Honestly, right now, people are wondering, even back in the studio, they're like, was she on a duress? It seemed like she was. If you look at the video, I don't know, we're not going to play it here, but there's a picture where she has her eyes swollen and she's basically reading from a letter saying, she's fine, please, you all should please not be concerned about me, I'm doing okay, blah, blah, blah. Nigerians are like, whoa, this is happening in 2025.
Yeah, and this is coming off of all the terrible crimes that are recorded against women. I mean, the gospel singer turned murderer. So I don't think this is something we should take lightly.
This 2025, I think we need to find ways to try to, help with these sort of issues. It's becoming really alarming. Didi, I know you can see all the stories going around and...
Yeah. I feel the security agencies should be very concerned and should put in their, best foot forward in 2025 concerning gender-based violence, because it just keeps, the numbers keep increasing every other year, and it's so sad to see. And with social media, as we're saying, we could see it everywhere. All you have to do is press record and you're able to project all of that.
You know what I would like Nigerians to do, and this is something which I think the government should do more about. There's an emergency number in Nigeria called 112, which actually works. So on Thursday, I called the number for research to say, this is who I am, and I want to see if this number works. Within 1 minute, the call got connected, someone spoke to me, and they clearly stated that they handle all sorts of emergencies from fire, accidents, domestic violence, rape, kidnapping, abduction, and it's toll-free. It's free, it's by the NCC, and this is clearly to the Minister of Information and Communication. You need to amplify those numbers for Nigerians to know that they can call. So to Nigerians out there, when you see something, say something. Call 112 and report it. Also, the National Agency for Protection of Trafficking in People, NAPTIP, they have a toll-free number, and we'll share that before the end of the show. When you have such incidents, please call, and they can help manage the situation in a way where you will be protected. I think it's grossly unfair and unreasonable that someone would abuse the wife, partner, or whoever it is, and then force them to do a recording just to protect his image. Because at the end of the day, there's no sympathy, there's no empathy. It's about him. And this is totally unacceptable. And it's good that Nigerians are speaking up about it, and maybe the law should handle it. And for the police, I remember growing up, when a husband and wife have dispute at home, and you go to the police station, they will tell you, this is a family matter, we won't interfere. I believe we've gone past that, but we need to do better about it.
Absolutely.
Let's go to a lighter
Thank
topic.
you. Honestly, Anthony, thank you for that, all that information. And on a lighter note, like you said.
You're welcome. So what else?
So we have, of course, where we talk about the fact that young, famous, and African has been trending. And we have our Nigerians that are there representing Swanky Jerry, who is this big designer. And, of course, Annie Dibia, Two-Face wife. And she received some backlash.
Diamond Platinum
And Diamond
as well. Don't forget Diamond.
Oh, so that means you're a fan of Diamond. So these are all reality stars that have been able to, make a big deal. The season 3 right now, and Nigerians have been talking about it
Dropped
all
this
week.
Last week,
All
Friday
week,
on
exactly.
Netflix. Yeah.
Most people have watched all the episodes, but one thing is for sure that Swanky Jerry has now put out a picture of his new house. So it seems like this
His
new
new
year,
penthouse.
this new year has been really pressured with expenses, too much buying. Celebrities are really, people are thinking it's fake life. I don't know if we can show the picture of the house. It's there.
Do
If
we
you have a
the
look at it,
visual,
people,
or
so
we could have a look
I
at
thought
it?
something
January
that-
was tough for everyone. Why are
Honestly.
people buying penthouses?
so these are things that have been trending online. Just, things like that, and Nigerians coming out to just show that we have the money this year.
So this is a conversation which I stumbled upon on social media, this young famous African, and I had to go watch it. First of all, I'd watched the first season, and so I watched this recent one. A funny part of the conversation was that you see all of them dressed really well, private jet, expensive lifestyle, but someone said, what's going on with their wigs?
Oh my God!
Oh, you saw that. Sorry.
Leave lace alone. Like, just leave
It
it.
was really funny.
Oh my
Even
God.
took the actor Ugo Uche went to go and say that ladies should leave wigs alone. And man advising women on wigs, but he said it and people took it seriously.
I
so.
think the wig that I couldn't stand the most was the officiating priest at Zuri's wedding. Like her literal, like the wig was. I was like, why is this going on? Like just put on a wig that doesn't have a frontal. It's even cheaper.
Do you watch it, Didi?
Yeah, I've actually finished.
What was the highlight for you?
Ooh,
The highlight for me was seeing Iniedo in this new season. I was really surprised to see her. Not to talk down on reality TV, but I feel she's bigger than that.
Yeah.
So seeing her there, I was like, huh. But she acted really graceful. So
Yeah.
I think I liked the fact that she came on. I don't think I've gotten to that part yet, but I saw when she did her introduction. At some point, I was quite concerned about the representation of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Because we are the biggest, we are the best in Africa, and we'll blow that trumpet. And so you need to also show the biggest, the best, and the greatest. But I like the diversity. Swanky Jerry is great with fashion and style.
Yeah.
For
His
people, his own fashion and style, I don't get it. I wouldn't use them.
I can relate.
I don't know where the glasses are. But very important about that show, something we must talk about. We just spoke about mental health.
yeah.
Annie Dibia is always the subject of a lot of attacks,
Honestly.
no matter what she does.
Good or bad?
I feel like she puts herself in that situation.
No.
Though. I feel like, I'm sorry, controversial opinion, but like, why was she talking about Zari's new husband, about how young he was? Like, she
Isn't
was
it
basically
weird?
screaming it.
So this is something about delivery, and in most cases, it's not about what you say, but how you say it. I saw her kind of have an outburst at someone's wedding, and I was like, place and time, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I get it.
But for Nigerians at home, the attacks on Annie Dibia, I don't think it's fair. We don't know what people are going through. We don't know what they've been through. And trigger warnings, she had also mentioned on the same show that she had a miscarriage at some point in time. And it's very easy to gloss over it and talk about the horrible wigs, which there were kind of a lot of horrible wigs. It's not my business, but I did notice some weirdness. But we need to also understand that there are people behind the screen, behind the phone. We are on TV every week for the last 6 years or whatever. And I've had some people tell me 1 or 2 comments, and I'm like, what? And these are the ones they say to your face. Talk less about faceless people behind the phones on the internet. So I think we should be nicer to Annie Dibia. And for people, they shouldn't put their partners in a position where they get in the point of
It's not that
ridicule.
easy. But so we have to talk about fashion before you let us go here, Mr. Andy.
Yes, so entertainment.
Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah, Nigerians showed out at Paris Fashion Week. But
Yeah.
Nigerians have been doing so well in fashion. Like,
I mean, come
as
on.
you just said about
Nigerian
Iniedo.
fashion is
Come on.
amazing.
And they spend
I know
that
we
real
have
money.
lots of main character syndrome as Nigerians, but when it comes to our fashion, beautiful.
I agree, they did a great job. Even Mr. Andy too, the Plazo trousers last weekend, even during Paris Fashion Week, so many
Yes,
artists like
so
Omar
many
Lay,
wide leg
Burna
trousers,
Boy,
yeah.
even David O, wide leg
Davido,
trousers.
yeah.
trending this new fashion as so many others.
I was thinking that same thing. Like, I think it's going to keep on, like, trending for 2025.
I think it's going to be a big fashion year. I see the trend shift. So the last 2 years, we had a lot of nude type of colors.
Yeah.
Them.
Earth tones, things
Yes,
like
earth
that. Really,
tones.
really nice.
Actually,
And that was
sorry to
good. Like
interrupt,
what you please go on.
but Pantone actually released their shade of 2025.
What's the shade of
and
2025?
It's, I believe, Mousse Mocha.
Mousse mocha.
It's like a
Okay.
shade of brown,
Yeah.
so it's everywhere.
So it's still
So,
good.
yeah,
Another
yeah,
color,
I'm repping.
another color which I think is going to be big this year is lavender or baby pink. I saw some beautiful lavender colored kind of like, when I think of lavender, I think about soap, bathing soap, and that did look good. But yeah, you talk about Nigerians showing up and showing out at the fashion week, and it's a trend which I've seen from the sports world, especially with men, where we're now going back to the big baggy clothes which we had in the
Yeah.
early 2000s. I bought big palazzo pants last
Yeah.
week by Zizi Bespoke. But I also think it's an excuse for men to be unfit because
Everything is free,
you know
kind
what?
of.
Later I buy those big t-shirts where you don't. Lynx used to have this song, "Suck better, make the shirt fine," and so now you don't need to suck better, make the shirt fine. Fine
It
because
reminds me
they're
of,
now big shirts and
You
big
know,
pants.
after the lockdown, when a lot of girls were getting into boo-boos. And we knew why we were wearing those boo-boos. But we're calling ourselves rich aunties. But we knew why. It was because of the weight to hide it.
Definitely.
So
It
yeah,
makes
I
sense.
see. I see what you're saying.
If it does make your confidence get to a higher level, I'm all for it. But
Yeah.
were there any Nigerians on the runway at the Paris Fashion Week?
So funny enough, no. We had Mr. Easy and Temi Otedola who went together, you know, as they're married or not. Yeah. So they weren't on the runway, but there was an LV, you know, sort of display in the categories for that Paris Fashion Week. I don't know if they'll see more for next week, but you know, it's a week time, so we'll still see probably more designs.
Yeah.
A lot of Nigerian men, you know, I've been seeing the pictures of the celebrities attending Paris Fashion Week, but they've been able to break out of the stereotype of what a traditional Nigerian
Yeah,
man dresses
African
like,
man
an
is
African
like,
man
yeah,
dresses like,
thinking
which I
that.
find it really
They're
interesting, you know.
attractive, you know.
Well, thank you on behalf of Nigerian men. You don't always hear great things about us. Talking about Nigerian men, Burna Boy, great artist. He released that last song in December, the one with Bundle by Bundle.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the greatest song. It's taken a while. His songs grow on us.
Yeah.
True.
But still in social media, he had some issue with, what's his name, Speed Darlington
honestly.
in December. And he got locked up
For
now
2
For 2 months, yeah.
for 2 months. And this is something which concerns me because you have laws against libel and scandal, but in Nigeria we now have the Cybercrime Prevention and Prohibition Bill, which now puts criminal charges to such. Now in this case, 2 courts had said release this person, and he was kept on for longer, and not after the second court as well. But just 2 days ago, I heard he's been released.
Yeah.
Yes.
And his lawyers, they are happy. But Burna Boy posted on his story saying this one is small. If you want, go on,
Yes,
and
we'll
you'll get
I'll show
something
you again.
more.
Wow.
What's your take on this saga?
For me, honestly, I think it's something that Sweet Darlington needs to be careful about. And I see the oppression from Burna Boy, but I don't think
Yeah.
Burna Boy broke any laws, apart from the part that he unlawfully detained him
Yeah.
at first, and then he had to fake it off, and then he actually invited police to pick him up, and they went through lawyers. So I just feel like Sweet Darlington needs to be very careful. We all need to be careful what we see on social media. There's that angle where he's actually taunting Burna Boy over and over again with his choice of words, with his gimmicks, his comics, and Burna Boy is not finding it, you know, comfortable, so he's taking legal actions, and I think it's something that people should be careful about. Burna Boy has the right. That's
What's
where I'll
your
leave
thoughts
it. You
on
know, I
that?
can never pick a side.
I would always not be on the side of oppression.
Yes.
That's the first thing. So I didn't like how it was handled. He could have gone through a lawyer. He didn't need to call the police, and the police now going to his house. So there should be, you know, legal backing for anything you want to do. Don't just go oppressing people because you have the finances, which is something that's really common here in Nigeria. That's the first thing. But secondly, bullying of any kind, no matter how big someone is, we're still humans, you know, as you said. So Burna Boy is still a human being. So if you're bullying him, he would feel some type of way. If you're making fun of him, he'll feel some type of way. Speed Darlington was just released, and I saw a video of him
Yeah,
wearing a Diddy mask to taunt Burna Boy. You just came out of for 2
But
months,
there's freedom of
and you're
speech.
still
Oh
doing
my
that.
God.
Yes,
Speed
but if
Darlington.
if your aim is to taunt another person, it's still.
Yeah.
So no lessons learned. That was my own
Yeah.
question.
So context for those of you who are not social media and the older
Mm.
people who watch this show, it's interesting and important to note that in Nigeria, homosexuality is a crime which could get you locked up for 14 years.
True.
Burna Boy won a Grammy,
Yes.
which was produced by PDD, who now has his own legal cases.
Yeah.
Speed Darlington came online to claim that Burna Boy had homosexual relationships with Diddy,
Yeah.
which means if the Nigerian police or the legal system looks into it, it could also put Burna Boy in trouble for a crime which he could be locked up for 14 years. However, there's no proof
Yeah.
for it. And so that's the basis. And on one hand, Burna Boy would say, yes, he's defending himself because this is egregious, this is big, and it affects his image and all whatnot. So he took it to the law. But this situation where people get arrested and locked up before they are tried in court and the likes,
Yeah.
I also agree with you, Paul,
unacceptable.
that it's not great.
Yeah.
Talking about music once again, Ashake had some issues with his management
Yeah.
in the last 1 year, and we didn't see any concerts from him in December. I saw a picture of him a week ago with a full body tattoo. My mother will be shouting God forbid at home. A new haircut and
Yeah.
all. What do you think about, and actually you were talking earlier about Nigerian artists who did great in the last 1 year, and there was a list. Who were the people who topped that list?
Of course, Ashake is one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is
Ashake was
Lungu Boy.
number one.
I
He
mean,
did an
he-
amazing job last
Yeah.
year. We
Yeah.
also have others like Davido. We can never leave Davido out of this.
Yeah.
And when you say Davido, you have to say Wizkid, then you say Burna Boy.
But I was really
So about 4 or 5.
fascinated, by the first 3 people I saw on that list. They're all the quote-unquote new school.
Yes.
Number 1 was Ashake, 2 Rema, 3 Arya Star.
Yeah, Ira
and I was,
Star.
Why
it,
we
it was up
forgetting
until,
Tems?
No,
but
I mean-
based on based on the numbers, those
Okay.
3 topped the chart, and it was up until number 6 that we saw the likes of Wizkid. So I was really fascinated by that.
You know what? That's quite impressive because the whole conversation about big 3, Burna Boy,
Yeah.
Davido, and Wizkid, that has been existing. But talk about good music. These people you mentioned, Ashake has held Nigerian music down in the last 3 years.
Yes.
Definitely. He's
Rema?
literally created a whole new like fusion, Afro pop.
Style.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know, so many crazy sounds.
I expected Rema to be
created.
number 1.
You know, there was something that happened to Rema last year whereby he got sick and for a while
Oh,
he
so
was,
there was a
you know,
window.
it was a bit of a window. And he had plans. Like now, as you can see, Azaman dropped right before last year, and then same with Alma.
Macham.
Rema and Arya,
Whoa.
Rema and Arya Star's team, their PR marketing team, doing an amazing job because they've been able to break,
100%.
out into the international scene, even to places that you're like, Afrobeats. That's when I see the
Whoa.
location, I'm like, really?
Arya
And they've been able
Star,
to do
like-
as sell out, places and all of that. So
Let's talk about Arasta, who
Yeah.
I absolutely love.
I'm sorry.
I love Arasta and Thames, but let's talk about Arasta.
Yeah,
Go on,
I was just thinking Arya Star. Something that surprised me was that she actually performed at Chris Brown's show 11/11. I was when I saw it, I was like, wow, Arya Star is that girl that
let's
she
not
thinks
forget
she
Coldplay
is.
also
You know, I
last
was
year,
just about
which was
to say
mind blowing.
that this is how you know the age difference on this panel because she's interested in the fact that he performed with Chris Brown. But for me, seeing Arasta perform on the Good Morning America show with Coldplay, Coldplay
They don't
is at the
even
top.
they don't collaborate with people. The only
No.
person is Beyonce that I know they've
Yes.
collaborated with. So
honestly,
it was
she-
so beautiful to
was
see that.
alright.
She's a risk
Oh,
taker. She's a risk taker. She's creative and she's young and she's vibrant. I think Arya Star is going to do amazing this year as well.
I agree totally. Her song with Giveon, Last Heartbreak Song, was also a great song. For those who have eaten breakfast in the words of Burna Boy, that was really good. And so Arasta has been mad impressive, but we can't talk about great people in music without talking about the other lady who is doing amazing, Thames.
Thames.
Yes.
You're not saying that because of Ezinna, right?
Oh, no, I do love. So I love Arasta and Thames,
Yes.
as different as they are, but I think their vocal capacity and creativity is amazing.
Beautiful.
And let's remember that Thames also was featured on the remake of John Legend's Ordinary
Yes.
People. That's one of the greatest songs, R&B songs in recent times, like in the last 20 years that we can talk about, and seeing Thames do that. But what do you think Arista is doing that's different from Thames?
I think for me, it's the class act. You know, I feel
Definitely.
Thames is really classy, honestly.
Yeah.
I can't take that from her. Even if I want to say maybe her song makes me moody, I'm usually kind of like, worried about being beastie, lioness, or being calm in my own zone. So I would say maybe she's more of a class act. She's won a Grammy. She's worked with Wizkid. She's performed with him on the big stage. She's done so much, especially internationally. I think it's that classiness
And her album is so
she
lovely.
brings out of her.
Definitely.
The
She
problem
elegates,
is that
sort of.
Ezinna and the likes, they like those jams, the drama type of matcha. Like Nigerians generally like songs to get their moods up and all whatnot because we're
Definitely.
always sad and
Yeah.
down.
I also think they're I don't want to sound like the typical Nigerian auntie, but I think their age also plays a part. Like Arista targets the Gen Z audience. I
that's
know they're
true.
loud, they're on social media, they're
Yeah.
outgoing, they're free, all of that, and that's who she is.
Yeah.
So you could see how that would make a lot of noise, in
But-
the court of public opinion. While
That's
Thames
hurt
is
her.
more
That's
Thames
hurt
is
her as
more,
well.
just
Grown
exactly that
for people like me.
people like you, exactly,
do that.
which you don't post on social media,
No, I
but
don't.
you
But
go
I-
ahead to buy it,
Buy
so she still
tickets,
makes money.
constantly listen
Yeah,
to them.
yeah.
That's what I was just
True,
thinking.
we have
Yeah.
to go.
Because of their different audiences, Thames, she can go international. She can go to Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. She can,
Yeah.
speak to different age groups. But Arya Star, she's, Gen Z, and Gen Z doesn't really. Gen Z is more like going to concerts.
Exactly.
They don't really have that voting power as much.
And the purchasing
Compared-
power. But
Yeah.
it brings us to living legacies. And I had this conversation recently about Tiwa Savage. You've seen how Olamide got to a certain level and he gave us people like Young John, he gave us
Ashake,
Ashake
yeah.
and a whole lot of other people.
Fireboy.
Don Jazzy got to his position, he's giving us them Arya Star, Rema, the New Class Crayon, and the likes. I expected Tiwa Savage to get to a point where, even if it's part of Mavens, and have a record label to support younger talents, the likes of Arista, Thames, and women need that platform from those
Definitely.
at the top. What do you think is going on with her? Because she has some great features with some hits. But it's like she waits for the songs to be catchy and then she jumps on a remix. What do you think about her own trajectory?
I personally, I don't think Tiwa Savage is like crazy on the business aspect. She's doing this because like it's her passion. She's always said it. Like some of the songs that Don Jazzy put out for her, she didn't like them. She just did them because that was the business. But like I think she just goes for like what she's enjoying at that time. And maybe she's just not feeling that change right now.
So, before we let you go, we'll hear from both of you and in two spaces. We'll start with social media, or let's start with music. Who do you think are the stars to look out for in 2025? What are your projections in the music space in 2025, Aisha?
Honestly, I haven't seen much of a, spilling, I would say. It's more of a spilling, because for now, I haven't really noticed any new artists that I feel we should watch out for, but I would have to say Ruga. We've not mentioned Ruga throughout our conversation today, and that's the one I feel we can definitely watch out for this 2025. From his collaboration with Tiwa, as we just mentioned, she's been great with collabos. He seems to be very strong in who he is and the kind of music he wants to release this 2025. And of course, the likes of Ashake, because he's up to something. It's obvious he's doing some work. And of course, I'll have to also add this guy we call Black Bones. I've been talking about him before off the studio, and I'm just thinking
Emeka
like,
Stallion.
yeah. So those are people I think we should watch out for. These artists will definitely give us a big surprise in 2025.
I agree.
Do you think
honestly.
Fido will
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Do something in
Feedy.
2025?
Oh, let me cross my legs again. Oh, that guy, he's one of those guys that just kind of, like, we've always had these artists that just blow. And we need to see another project very soon to see if we can continue
So
this.
he released Joy is Coming. He did that Joy is Coming song, which was a big hit during the Christmas period,
Yeah.
which we loved. And it's unfortunate that once something gets so big, then a group of people decide to hate it. So that here's a
I'm
piece
that
I
group
don't
of
want to hear
people.
this. But I thought that was amazing, and we needed that song for that period
Yes, now
of
we
Yeah.
time.
need
That was good. I
something
think
new.
he's actually dropped another song, and I saw
Oh,
people on social
okay.
media saying, "How dare you?" Instead of you to let this one rock, you're now releasing something. So that's something to look out for. So in the fashion world, what trends should we look out for this year? I know you've started that conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. One thing I'm loving is like the big shoulders on women, like the extravagance. Like someone who's really good at doing that is Vicky James.
I was about to say I
Yeah.
saw her cooking with some costume.
It's amazing. I love it. I want to keep seeing more of that. I want to incorporate that because I already have broad shoulder, so it's like hiding it, you know. That's the secret for broad shoulder girl is out there.
Okay.
So I hear we have a song for the week. You want to introduce that?
Yes. We're all ready to look at our song of the week. It's titled "Louder"
Let's have a look at that
by
video.
Black Bones. Take a look.
Say I don't think I like that song, but maybe it's new. Or is it my
You're not,
generation?
you're not Gen Z. I was about to say that.
You know what? Well, before I ask for your 3 of 3 for the year, it's my pleasure to say someone who has been extremely helpful on this show, who has guided us, who has been here with us for the last 6 years, Emmanuel Balogun. Today is his birthday. He's our director. So very happy
birthday.
Mr. Emmanuel Balogun. He's behind the cameras. I've tried to drag him in front time and time again, but he's refused, and I will at some point. Happy birthday, Emmanuel. We're proud of you. We love what you do, and you're amazing at your job, and
Yeah.
we wish you more blessings, greater heights. And what do you guys have to say to Emmanuel?
More money in
My
2025.
G director, happy birthday. Thank you so much for all your
Happy birthday,
efforts.
Mr.
We love you.
Emmanuel.
Rapid fire.
right.
You're 3 for 3. Aisha, what are 3 things you... Okay, I'll just make it 2. What are 3 of 2 sections? 3 things you were proud of last year and 3 things you want to do better this year.
Okay. Last year I was proud of collaborations that I decided to try just for personal, business, and it went really well. I took that risk. I usually don't do business, but I tried it last year and it was really good. It was good. And then this year I plan to be more out there with the media and be honest, with the kind of person I really am on camera and just share it with my viewers on social media.
Okay, so for me, last year I was really proud that I just kept on going. Like even when I didn't feel like doing stuff, I just did them. And it really showed me that I am quite resilient. And something I would love to do this year, like Aisha tells me a lot, like when we're on air, like I really need to tone it down with I think sometimes I can be like the matter of fact, and you can be very nice and about things, and I need to learn how to tone things down. So yeah, we're working on that.
I think you're doing
2025.
amazing. You got thrown onto live TV last year. How has that journey been for you?
I feel like Hannah Montana, honestly.
I think that's a good way to wrap up. Ladies, thanks for your general review.
Thank you.
And to
Yeah.
our viewers at home, every last weekend of the month, we'll do a review of what we've spoken about this month, and we hope you enjoyed it. We'll take a quick break. When we return, more on the weekend show. But we have P. Roba, who scares me, but excites a lot of people with what he does. He's extremely creative, and since we're talking creativity, we'll take this break, and when we return, you see P. Roba, then Tanda Chimelu on Entrepreneur Spotlight.